Welcome to TSPortfolioMerge. This is a demo and introduction video of my new trading portfolio analysis tool. This tool is designed to work with TradeStation and or MultiCharts. I created this tool because I wanted a quick and cost-effective way to merge equity curves that TradeStation outputs in the form of XML files. There are other tools out there that do this exact thing, but they cost quite a bit of money, and the interface can be rather complicated. So I was working with a client, and he had developed three different strategy across 5-minute bars going back 15 years. And if you try to do something like that in Portfolio Maestro, merge the equity curves together, you'll get something like this here. Here is my Portfolio Maestro, and I went ahead and built these strategy groups. There's 3 of them I created. And then once you build the strategy groups, and I won't go into detail how to do this, I wrote a book on this, so if you're interested in that, just purchase the book, and it goes into detail how to build those strategy groups, and then you can pull those into a portfolio and run the portfolio as a single entity. So I've got 3 systems, GATS GC 2BR, GATS NQ 2B, and GATS NQ 2BR. So for my client, he wanted to say, well, I've got these and I want to add some more markets, but I want to see what the overall drawdown would be if I traded these 3 systems together. And so he asked me to do that for him. He's not familiar with Portfolio Maestro. Not many people are. So I said, sure, I'll do it. So I went ahead and created the strategy groups. And then I decided, well, let's see how long this thing takes to do this. So I wanted to create a little benchmark here. And we're going to go ahead and test this. And remember, I'm loading only 3 years of 5-minute bars. Okay, so we're going to test these 3 algorithms across gold 5-minute bars and NASDAQ 5-minute bars going back 3 years. So let's go ahead and hit the back test portfolio. Let's go ahead and get the clock working here. I'll keep it off screen so I can activate it. And I'm going to go back 3 years, so I'm going to hit perform back test. Okay, let's go ahead and hit start. We'll put that up here so we can see how long this thing takes to complete this task. If Maestro could do this within, say, 5 minutes, I would be happy. And if it would have produced the results. Now I'd be happy if in 5 minutes I could go back 15 years. Going back 3 years, if I could do this in 5 minutes, I'd still be somewhat happy because I would have my answer. But the problem is, you got to take into consideration the amount of time it takes to build the modules in Portfolio Maestro and then to run the combination. And of course, you have to have TradeStation running simultaneously. Even though Portfolio Maestro is an independent program, you need TradeStation because it goes out there and checks to make sure. And it uses, I don't know if it uses the TradeStation method of acquiring the data or not, but they both have to be running simultaneously. So if it worked, it would be great. The problem is, many times when you go through the whole process and you sit there for 15 minutes or whatever, you get to the very end and all of a sudden Maestro just bombs on you, just disappears. So you've spent all the time building the components of Portfolio Maestro, and then you run it and then it just bombs. And it doesn't give you any reason why it bombs. Now, let me qualify that. That usually only happens if you're using a lot of intraday data, minute bars, to pull into Maestro. Now, if you're using daily bars, it's a little different story. It works much, much better. It very rarely bombs. And if you're working with daily bar systems and you want to do a lot of portfolio analysis, Portfolio Maestro is the way to go. But you got to take your time and build everything. And it still takes a lot of time to run the portfolio. So I decided to build the TSPortfolioMerge for users like my client who simply wanted to add 1 or 2 markets to the mix to see what the overall profit and overall drawdown would be. So we could let this run in the background if we like. I'm going to go ahead and pause it and just see how long this thing does take. So And when I say pause, I mean I'm going to turn the screen off, so you won't. I'll stop the recording so you won't be bothered with having to sit there and watch this clock tick up. Okay, I'm back with you, and we are getting up onto 5 minutes, and it looks like we're maybe halfway through. The bar's not really moving that quickly. I think this will complete, but again, at the end, I don't know if it's going to bomb at the very end or getting ready to bomb. So we're looking at 5 minutes, and we're halfway through. So is it going to take another 5 minutes to get through this? I don't know, but I don't want to sit here and watch this green bar inch its way across my screen when I have a better alternative for what I need to do with my TSPortfolioMerge. So we're going to go ahead and hit stop. I'm going to reset it, and I'm just going to go ahead and cancel the back test. It'd be great if it would all of a sudden hit something and then this green bar would shoot all the way across here. And that does happen sometimes. But again, Portfolio Maestro is a great tool if you're using daily bars. But if you're mixing in daily and 5 minute bars, it slows it down. And it just takes way too much time. You could go away, get your cup of coffee, come back. But if you're waiting for that, if you're working in a workflow and you're waiting for those results, and based on those results you want to do something else, this is not the way to do it. So we're going to go ahead and hit cancel. Okay, I boarded it, so I'm going to go ahead and shrink it. Actually, I'm just going to quit Maestro. I'm going to keep my clock up there. Now, we're going to do the same thing in TradeStation to get the data out that these other various add-on programs, such as TSPortfolioMerge, need to get the data that it needs. You have to export the data in an XML format. And if you've never done that before, it's quite simple. Here is a system. Here's the gold system. Here's the equity curve. So I'm going to save that. I'm going to save everything as a XML Arena file. Okay. You have three options there. You have Microsoft or CSV or XML. I'm going to save this as an XML Arena file. Now, these files are huge, so it does take a minute or two for this thing to save the data out as an XML format. So I'm not going to do that. I've already done that, and I've done it for the three GAT systems. Okay, so I'm going to hit cancel. I'm going to Portfolio Merge. I'm going to process XML files. I'm going to hit that button, which is the very top button. And as you can see, I've saved these files in a folder called Android-like XML. That's my project. I'm working with an Andromeda-like system, and I'm combining other equity curves with it. Here's my GATS GC, my GATS in Q2, and my GATS in Q2B. And as you can tell, they're a very large file. These are 224 megabyte files. They're huge. Usually, if it's like a daily bar system, they're going to be a megabyte. And you're asking, why are these so big? Well, because the files includes every 5 minute bar in that chart, and also every trade that's in that chart. So if it trades a lot and it's got a lot of data, these files are going to be huge. So we're going to go ahead and just select all three of these. Before I do that, though, let's get my stopwatch back up. And I'm going to hit start already. I'm going to go back over here. I'm going to hit OK. I'm going to say open. Let's open all three of them. Let's bring my clock back up. Okay, and as you can see, I'm parsing right now. And what parsing means, it just means that it's just, and ignore it's not responding because I clicked on it. Well, I'll try and move it while it was working. It's basically just reading the data. It's reading the data into the application. So right now we're on, already completed the first XML file. The 224 megabytes have already been parsed on the first file. Now we're going to file number 2, parsing GATS in Q2, 2 out of 3. Because I picked 3, we're working on number 2. So we're up to 47 seconds, 48. Now hopefully this thing will pop over to 3 very quickly. It did, it went to 3. So it's processing that. And remember, we were at 5 minutes, and we didn't even know where on the Portfolio Maestro where we stood. Were we halfway through at 5 minutes, or was it going to be another 10 minutes? We don't know. So here we're at a minute 17. It's processing the third XML file. It's completed. It's combining the equity curves and computing the metrics. And once it does that, it's going to render a chart. So let's go ahead and stop. So we're about a minute 20 something. So there are the three equity curves combined. It's a nice looking chart. It shows you the drawdown at the bottom here. This is a generic presentation, but it gives you the answer that you were asking, and it does it in a relatively quick format. If you want to look at the, we'll pull that off. We got that. We're going to look at the show portfolio summary. And what the summary does, it tells you what it did. It said, okay, I had these 3 XML files. Inside that XML file was the gold symbol. And in that chart, it was using a percent trailing and the GATS gold, and it started on 2010-08-18, the start date. So this kind of gives you a summary of what it parsed. And then it gives you the portfolio metrics. Well, the total portfolio was $970,000, which is close to $1 million, and the max drawdown was $71,000. And then it breaks it down on a market by market basis. So that's kind of pretty neat little tool there. It's quick. It doesn't do anything extra spectacular, but it is quick. But this is where I added another feature. My client says, well, which of the, I can only afford to trade 2 of those 3 systems. Which 2 should I trade? So we can find best M of N. Now, best M of N is a combinations search space. It says I've loaded 3 strategies, and then I want to determine, and the subset has got to be less than 3. It's got to be 1 or 2. In this case, if you want to do a combination, and you can only afford 2, you at least you can't afford that $70,000 drawdown. So you're hoping to get that drawdown a little bit less by trading 2 of those 3 systems. So you can hit 2 there, and we can use exhaustive search because we're only doing 2 out of 3. The combination of that is, I think, 6. Is that 6 or 3? I think it's 3. I can't remember. But it doesn't matter. It'll tell you. So we're going to run an exhaustive search on this. So be prepared. This is going to take some time because we're going to run, NASDAQ gold versus, GATS gold versus NASDAQ, GATS gold versus NASDAQ 2B, NASDAQ versus NASDAQ. So there's several different, runs in there. Let's see how fast this thing takes. Bam, it's over. Bam, that was quick. Wow. And we're only dealing with 3 files, so don't get excited. It is very fast, though. I've done 25 to 30 where I'm sampling 9, and it might take, I don't know, a minute at most. I got a speed mode here, too, that doesn't do an exhaustive search, but it does a pretty good estimate of what the best results were. So in this, it says, hey, if you're looking for the best profit to drawdown ratio, and this would be 18 magnitude, you would want to trade GATS GC and GATS NQ2. Okay, so we made $660,000, and our max drawdown is a much more comfortable $36,000. So I ranked them. We only ran 3. You can specify how many you want to show because we only had 3. You can only do 3. But if you have 25 markets and you want to pick 9, you can say, I want to look at the top 10 just to see what the drawdown and profit profiles are. Okay, so that's a real quick intro into trading portfolio, my trading portfolio analysis tool known as TSPortfolioMerge, and I will be selling this very soon, and it will come as a you'll have to download it as an executable. I've got a installer. You just download the installer, and it will install it for you. I appreciate your time.